The last time I was here was New Year's Eve on 2022, and I came here to take my own life, and 3 years later I find myself back here. This place is incredibly beautiful, with the sun setting in the background. I find it a place of beauty and comfort, which is kind of strange given what I was here to do.
I think we're coming to sunny day.
So we're just leaving now. I suppose some context would be appropriate. There's so much to say, but I don't really know how to say it. Sometimes it's easier just to speak to a camera than it is to try and talk to another person. I think I came here on New Year's Eve in 2022 with the intention of taking my own life, because back then I was in such a terrible place. I really couldn't see any other way forward, and I drove out here, and then when I arrived I didn't really know what to do. I just kept looking around and thinking, what would I be leaving behind? But how do I go on? And I suppose for me I should really start at the beginning. I'm really struggling even on my own to find the words to say the things that I want to say, and I suppose that's always really been my problem, is that I've never been able to say things, and I think that probably stems from my childhood, where I didn't really feel that we were ever able to voice anything, which kind of leads me where I was 3 years ago, which was in a really bad place, and I kind of fight against that every single day to remember what I do have at home, what I would be leaving behind, and really the thoughts that kind of lead me to this place. And I think that this is the year, 2026 is the year that I've decided that maybe I need to confront those things, and if I can retrace my steps and maybe find some peace with the past, then maybe that will somehow give me peace to move forward. But I've never really confronted these things before, and I've tried therapy, but I just clam up and I can't say the words, and I can't say the things out loud. I don't know why. Maybe because I feel ashamed, or I feel that people will judge me, or that people I know will know things about me that I would never tell the friends I've made in my adult life. I feel like I've always been a liar, even though I haven't been a liar. I feel like I've concealed I really would like to start at the beginning. I think it's important for me I ought to tell you a little bit about me and what kind of led me to be at Durdle Door 3 years ago. So I was born about 45 years ago in a small town in Northamptonshire called Corby. I have a Scottish mother and an Irish father, and they came down in the 1970s from Scotland for the steelworks. Corby is a predominantly, or used to be a predominantly Scottish town. The steelworks closed in the 1980s. So my family was known to social services before I was born. I have an older brother, 2 older sisters and a younger sister. So I'm second from youngest. My mum had quite serious mental health problems throughout the 80s and the 90s, and she was sectioned in St Crispin's Hospital in Northampton quite often. She had a lot of mental breakdowns. My dad, I've not seen him since I was 4. He was not a nice man. He was abusive, violent, spent a lot of time in and out of prison, an alcoholic. The memories I do have of him are not good, and you know, he is certainly not someone that I miss in my life. So we often were taken into care throughout our early childhood years up until around the age of 4, where the courts put a permanent care order on myself, my sister, who is 1 year older than me, and my other sister, who is 3 years younger than me. We got placed together in a long-term foster home in Northampton. We were removed after 2 years due to severe physical abuse. So that would have been 84 to 86. We were then separated. My youngest sister, she would have been 3 at the time, almost 4. She went to live with another set of foster parents in Northampton, who became her long-term foster parents, and she remained with them throughout her life. My older sister and I, we went to live with a lady in Northampton, in Duston. We lived there for another 5 years, which again, unfortunately, was another abusive home. And we left there when I had just turned 12 years old. I think I was just past my 12th birthday. And then subsequently after that, we went to an array of children's homes and foster homes. I lost my eldest sister along the way. She decided that she didn't want to be around me. She entered into drugs and ran away to London, so I really didn't see her throughout my teenage years. And I went to live with another family, this time in a small town in Northamptonshire called Findon, where I remained for the next few years. And then when I was old enough, I left care, joined the army, where I've had a pretty successful career, as successful as anyone would have. I worked my way through all the ranks. Yeah, so I joined the army in the year 2000, went through Pirbright. Like I say, I've had a successful career. I've achieved everything and every rank that I could achieve, and I've now served for 25 years, and that career is naturally coming to an end, because that's my full service, which that will end at the end of next year. So I will have served 26 years in total by the time I leave. And I got married, had 2 children. Unfortunately, the marriage didn't last very long at all. I was left to raise 2 babies on my own, which I did successfully. But I suppose for me, it's where it ends up, and how I ended up in the position I was in 3 years ago. And I think that what I'm going to do in these series of episodes is try and share with you guys how I came to be there, and trying to unpick everything that went before. And I actually find it really difficult to talk about, even to verbalize some of the words, to even say it out loud is scary to me. Even now, just sitting in my car talking, I find it difficult. But actually I find the car quite a safe place, which is why I've tried to do it in here, just so I can sort of find the words. And I suppose what I really want to achieve with this is to see if this could somehow help me, and by helping me, maybe somebody else could relate, and if it could help someone else, that would be fantastic. But I think what I'm going to do is sort of revisit all those childhood places that I haven't been to for years, because I think abuse in childhood, I don't think it's something that you ever get over. It's just something that you learn to live with, and there's a lot of guilt and a lot of shame that goes along with that. And even when you are a successful adult, you always feel a bit like an imposter, like these things are not for you, but somehow you got them. And I think for me, that's mostly where the pain comes from, is trying to reconcile with all those things that happened, and to find a way to make peace with it, which is maybe the thing that I find the most difficult. And nobody knows these things. Nobody knows, except for my sister, what we went through. My children don't know. I've never ever been able to verbalize any of it, and I feel that is what eats away at me. And if I can sort of release it, then maybe I can release some of the pressure. Or I don't know why I feel guilt, but I do feel guilt, even though my adult rational brain says that's crazy. I've got nothing to be guilty about. I was a child. But unfortunately, it is guilt that you carry. So yeah, I think I'm going to start with my childhood home. I'm probably going to go back and visit that, and walk the streets, and hopefully get some kind of reconciliation. And obviously, if you guys want to follow my journey, then subscribe and follow along with me. I'd like to feel like I was helping someone at least, but if not someone, just myself would be good.